information and responses you submit will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but truth, so help you God.
I do, sir.
Thank you. You may put your hand down. Mr. Shabu, before we proceed, there are several rights and constitutional protections that you have that I will remind you of on the record.
Yes, sir.
We're taking an official record. A court reporter is taking this down. And after I discuss these with you verbally, you will find that they'll be repeated some 2 or 3 times in paperwork, in writing. So don't be surprised when we repeat them in writing, okay?
Yes, sir.
Now, the first right that I want you to be aware of and reminded of is you have a right to remain silent. That means you do not have to make any statement. You don't have to answer questions. You don't have to submit written paperwork that has your signature, especially any papers that admit or confess to wrongdoing. You understand you have those rights.
Yes, sir.
You have the right to a jury trial. That means that you and your attorney and the state's attorneys would select 6 people from what we call a jury panel of randomly selected people that would hear the evidence, the testimony, look at the facts, and decide whether you're guilty or not guilty. That's a right to a jury trial. You have a right to confront witnesses. That's a big word saying you have the right to have your attorney question, cross-examine, or challenge any witness who would testify if you went to trial. Do you understand you have that right?
Yes, sir.
There is a right called the right to appeal. That is a right that you can exercise by yourself or your attorney by herself or the 2 of you together. You'd have to follow the proper methods, the correct forms, and the proper time limitations. That right is the right to demand that a higher court review the official record, the evidence, the facts, and the results in this case. That's called the right to appeal. You understand you have that right?
Yes, sir.
There's also a right to demand that this matter be held in an open public courtroom. Because of the COVID pandemic, we have not been doing that. I'm sure we're going to in the next few weeks or months. At this point, though, we're doing it by video conference, but you still have the right to demand an open courtroom proceeding. And you've probably reviewed paperwork wherein you have decided to go ahead and do this by video conference as opposed to doing it in the open public courtroom. Now, those rights and protections to enter a plea, you're winding up giving up those rights and protections we've discussed. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, I'm going to share with you some papers. And these are papers that you have already looked over and agreed to. The first one that's, and by the way, these papers will be showing you, they have at the top, almost every one of them with one exception, they have what I call identifying information. It's got the case number. The case number is 659992. The state of Texas versus Daniel Glenn Chabut, C-H-A-B-U-T, in County Court of Law number 5, Bexar County, Texas. That's the identifying information. It'll be repeated for every set of papers with exception of one. Then the title of the document, this one says State's Consent to Video Conference. Did you review these documents with your attorney?
Yes.
Did you understand them?
Yes, sir.
All right. The one in front of you right now is where the state agrees to video conference because they have that right just like you do. And this is signed by Caitlin C. Morgan, Assistant District Attorney. The next document, again, with the identifying information at the top, this one is titled Discovery Acknowledgement. There is a law that we call Article 39.14 of the Code of Criminal Procedure that the state of Texas requires that the state provides to you and your attorney access to and information concerning the evidence, receipts, documents, videotapes, whatever is involved that allows you to make an informed and intelligent decision. You'll notice that this is signed by your attorney and the state's attorney. They are declaring that the state did comply with that law. Then you have this document is yours, particularly where you consent to video conference. You reviewed this and signed that. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, what I'm seeing does not have your signature because this is a copy of it. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, the document before you now, again, identifying information. And the title of it, by the way, the titles are all in bold print, all capitals. This one is Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonitions. It is my understanding that you reviewed this carefully with your attorney. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, this one, the second sentence, there's 3 sentences that start off this document. It says that you were charged with, you're charged with assault, bodily injury, married or cohabitating. Then it says you're pleading nolo contendere to that charge. Assault, bodily injury, married, cohabitating. Now, is that correct? You understand
Yes,
that's
sir.
what you're charged with?
Yes, sir.
The rest of this document is divided into 15 numbered sections or divisions. Number 1 is the range of punishment. There's a check mark with a box, and next to that is a statement. It says Class A. What does that say?
I can't see it. It's too small. It says Class A up to $4,000 fine, 0 days or 0 days to 1 year in jail.
That's correct. All right. So you are able to read and understand these documents. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
These papers?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever been given or used medications for mental health issues?
I was on bipolar medicine, but I lost my insurance, so I no longer have the. It was Wellbutrin that they put me on.
Okay. Well, I have seen people with bipolar issues. I highly recommend that you find a way to get your medication, sir.
Yes, sir. I am actually in the process of doing that.
Very good. If we can help you somehow through probation or the state or whatever, let your probation officer know, because this is really, really critical. Number 5, have you ever been involved with a sex offender registration program?
No, sir.
All right. Just to repeat a couple of things, where were you born, sir?
Newton, New Jersey.
All right. That makes you a U.S. citizen. The documents will reflect that, all these documents.
Yes, sir.
Be aware that the deal you've made with the state is not binding on me as a judge. In fact, as a judge, I have the authority and the requirement, the duty to either accept your deal or reject it. I can also give you any punishment in the range of punishment, even if it's heavier than what you agreed to. If I reject your deal, or if I give you a punishment heavier than what you agreed to, then under those circumstances, the law would allow you to start all over again. That's contained in this document. Did you see and understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, you and your attorney have signed this document. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
You understood it. Any questions about it?
No, sir.
All right. The next document I'm showing you now, this is what's called Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. Identifying information. And then I certify to you, I declare to you, there's a stack of vertical stack of boxes, each one with a square, is a little square, and it has a statement concerning your right of appeal. The 5th box, I'm going to put it at the top of the page here. Well, not quite, but the 5th box says that you have no right of appeal because this is a plea bargain case.
Yes, sir.
You see it right at the top there?
Yes, sir.
I will have a check mark put on it and I will be signing it. Any questions about this?
No, sir.
All right. Now, I'm going to reload the other papers in here. If you'll give me a moment. All right. This document is the plea agreement, the actual deal that you've made. This is a little bit different on the identifying information. This one does not mention County Court 5 per se. The first two boxes will be marked. The first one repeats again that you know and understand you have the right to remain silent and you're freely giving it up. The second
Yes, sir.
box says identifies you as a U.S. citizen. All right. Then there's a section called defendant's acknowledgements. There's 5 boxes, little boxes that are stacked, and next to each one, a sentence or a discussion concerning rights and constitutional protections that you're aware of, that you've been aware of, made aware of, and that you understand you're giving up. Did you review that and understand that's what it says?
Yes, sir.
Any questions?
No, sir.
All right. Now this section says non-DWA allegations. This one has a check mark way at the bottom right, says assault, bodily injury, married, cohabitating. It says on there, your official plea is what, sir?
I'm pleading no contest.
All right. Now, I am ordering you within 1 week of today, 7 days, to come in and have your thumbprint affixed to the different documents that are required under the law. The Code of Criminal
Yes.
Procedure 38.33 to be specific, not that you would pass an exam on that, but just so you know, it's required of you.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, your plea is no contest, nolo contendere. That, as you know, is taken as a guilty plea by this court and is sufficient for me to convict you. You understand that clearly?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So based on your plea and the evidence, I find you guilty. I sentence you to 20 days Bexar County Jail. A fine. There's no fine in here, Ms. Morgan, at this point?
No, Your Honor, it will just be a JSAT. Oh, I'm sorry, it's $0 fine. I apologize.
Okay, then it'll reflect, Ms. Flores, this will reflect 0 fine. You are given credit for time served, time and money to run concurrently. The court finds that you have satisfied this judgment, and as such, you owe nothing further to the state of Texas or to this court on this particular case. In addition, the court, as part of this agreement, the court honors the agreement with the state, and case number 659993 is dismissed. Do you have any questions about this, Mr. Shabu?
No, sir. I just need the address of where I have to go so I can give you my thumbprint.
It's right here at the courthouse, what's called the Justice Center. It's 300 Dolorosa. It is on the 4th floor of the courthouse. The hallway behind the courtroom, although we usually have a bailiff available to direct you, but it's the all right. Can you hear me, Mr. Shabu?
Yes, sir.
All right. I just messed up the streaming side of this. Don't worry about it. Anyway, it is a hallway behind the main courtroom. And
Okay.
that's where the offices are.
Okay.
It's no problem. Now, Ms. Morgan, there is not a finding of family violence. Is that correct?